What is going on, Jerome's? Happy Monday morning. Last night, it was announced that the Carolina Panthers had signed former Minnesota Vikings star receiver Adam Ezekiel Thielen. End of an era, of course, when he was shown the door a couple weeks ago. 10-year run here in Minnesota, probably Detroit Lakes, Mankato State University Community College. I love when people don't get the bit. But Carolina, heads Carolina, tails California. Came up heads, all that stuff. And it does make sense where Kwesi is fully going Moneyball on the bit, where they're paying young guys. And if they're bringing back veterans, they're on very reasonable deals. And the Vikings, with Thielen, was due an $11.7 million base salary. And it's just like, nah. Let's move on. Let's move on. And he goes to Carolina. And frankly, it is a win-win-win for all involved. But of course, everything comes down to the actual money. And it's reported, Darren Doogie-Wolfson, as well as other reporters. Here, Thielen gets 3 years, $25 million with $14 million guaranteed, $10 million in first year. Works out very well for him financially and role-wise with the Panthers. Absolutely does. Where obviously the Vikings had some interest in bringing Thielen back, but obviously it was less than that. It was less than what he got from Carolina. So he got the mini bag, joining up with Frank Reich's new team. Also, he's going to have the number 1 overall pick at quarterback, so he can be his security blanket and BFF in the red zone and over the middle. So I'm happy for Thielen. Although I think that he did get a little bit overpaid, given that he's going to be 33 in August. Brett Spielberger, Esquire, PFF Brad, capology expert over at PFF. Also, the Spielberger was the worst item at Planet Hollywood. You guys remember those restaurants? It was bad. Anyways, but Thielen turned down a pay cut from his $11.8 million salary in Minnesota and gets more in first-year cash than was presumably offered, plus another $4 million in guarantees. Carolina needs to add weapons, and Thielen has been a good player for a long time, but this is a lot for 2022 Thielen, and that's what you get in free agency. Free agency is a tax for teams who don't draft well. And for the Carolina, I mean, since they gave up DJ Moore as part of the deal to move up to get to number 1, the receiver room is sort of, I mean, Terrace Marshall Jr. has some potential. Laviska Shenault has shown some flashes. He just is wildly inconsistent. Shi Smith is a guy that I like. Preston Williams at times has shown a little something. But, I mean, Thielen is clearly wide receiver 1 in this room. And even if they draft a receiver, it's going to be later on in the draft because of the picks they had to give up to trade up. So I don't see a wide receiver coming in and supplanting Thielen. So Thielen's going to be it. Thielen is going to be a wide receiver 1, so respect there. And it comes down to both sides winning, because the Vikings obviously want to get younger and faster and cheaper, and Thielen wanted the bag and more of a role than he would have had here in Minnesota, and it worked out, both sides. The Vikings, they got younger, they got cheaper, they saved cap space, they cleared a lot of cap space in 2024 and beyond. Also, more opportunity for KJ Osborne in a contract year, could step up as wide receiver 2. Maybe you could make a case that he was wide receiver 2 towards the end of last year, but that's beside the point. Or other wide receivers like Jalen Naylor, Jalen Rager, rookie TBD, etc. And Thielen got paid. The Vikings pay cut, let's say they offered 11.7 down to 7. All right, so whatever. Fully understand why Thielen made this business decision, and he got paid. He's got $14 million guaranteed and basically a 2-year deal. And then he gets to be wide receiver 1 for the Panthers, and even though Carolina may not be in contention for a while, I mean, he's still going to be getting that work, and they do have some nice young pieces. That defense is pretty legit, and offensively, they got a good offensive line. They're going to have a good quarterback in the draft, so I mean, could be looking up. Also, he gets guaranteed money in 2024, which he didn't have here with the Vikings. So, again, recapping his contract, it's reported $14 million guaranteed, $10 million in year 1, $4 million in year 2. So that does give him some security, as the guaranteed money usually does with veteran players. So I think it's a win-win-win. Also, it's a win for fans, because we didn't have to boo him. Boo! If he had signed with the Packers or the Bears or the Lions, or followed Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, or signed with the stupid-ass Saints or the Eagles. Yeah, the Vikings have like a blood feud with like 3/4 of the league. It's actually kind of funny. But also, the Vikings do play at Carolina next year, so they already have that revenge game narrative going on, so that'll be kind of fun. But like I said, Thielen will be wide receiver 1 in this offense. And for the Vikings, I mean, you got Jefferson. Jefferson's alpha, wide receiver 1. KJ, I think, can be a nice wide receiver 2, 2.5. somewhere in there. Jalen Naylor, I think, has a lot of untapped potential, as well as the Vikings could certainly look into the draft, especially at 23. I mean, there's a lot of guys who, again, may not be wide receiver ones, but could be wide receiver twos, wide receiver threes, bring a lot to the table, and basically replace the production from Thielen at a younger and a cheaper and a faster rate. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I think this is fully a win-win for both the Vikings and Thielen. I don't think that there should be any hard feelings on either side, and everyone comes out ahead, and we move on with life. There you go. But your thoughts are thoughts. It's a win-win for the Vikings and Adam Jerome Ezekiel Thielen with him signing with the Panthers. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Once put the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.